And a magnificent setting here in Kingston, Jamaica. Concacaf Nations League action continues again tonight. League A Group B will feature Jamaica and Cuba. Good evening to all, wherever you may be. I'm David Gascon. Thanks for joining us tonight. It is match number one for these two squads in Group B League A. But it's an encounter that they've both been familiar with throughout their luxurious histories. You look at the League A Group B standings right now, Nicaragua is the only team right now that has picked up points. Nicaragua with the 3 points, the one victory, but you have Jamaica and Cuba here tonight getting things set off in Group B. As far as the history between these two nations and how they've combated, well, Cuba's got a slight advantage. How slight? Well, just the one victory is the difference maker between the two sides. They have met on several occasions. 27 times they've gotten together. Cuba has won 11 of them, Jamaica 10, and they've also had 6 draws. This matchup dates all the way back to the early 1960s. When you think about where some of these teams have been in years past to where they're at today, completely different lineups, completely different configurations. But the best part about it is you have a lot of professionals being called upon by the respective countries in Jamaica and Cuba respectively. You have a lot of these players that are playing overseas in Europe, some of them in the United States, some in Canada, some in Mexico. They're all over the country, all over the world, but they come back for the respective nations and they can showcase their skills here tonight. It should be a fascinating matchup considering the fact that these two teams have a great deal of tradition, of history. It's a sound rivalry. There's a lot of implications that are at task tonight. So you think about the configurations and how these head coaches will kind of storm out or at least deploy their starting 11. Should be interesting to see if they slow play this, if they go out and try to be aggressive, but we'll find out. It makes for an interesting encounter between two teams that have had a back and forth affair for quite a long time. Take a look at both of these teams and how they're going to be deploying, at least between the pipes. Andre Blake and Rico Rosarena will be between the sticks for both these nations, and both of them are professionals. Rosarena playing and doing his work this season with Las Vegas Lights in the USL Championship. Meanwhile, Andre Blake, member of Philadelphia Union in the MLS. And so you have what you're going to look at as two goalkeepers that can really steal a match for you. You get into any kind of offensive rhythm and flow, that's a good thing. But if you're stymied against a goalkeeper that's on point, you know you're going to have a tough night because it's more about the physical and emotional state that you'll be in as opposed to simply putting shots on target. Both these teams taking the pitch right now. We're going to step aside for the national anthems, and then we'll get you the starting 11 and first touch. It's Jamaica and Cuba coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise, if you can, for the playing of the national anthem of Cuba. Please remain standing as we listen to the national anthem of Jamaica.
And we are back and we are live from Jamaica National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica. The host nation, Jamaica, tonight will be taking on Cuba. Concacaf Nations League. It's the first match between these two sides. League A, Group B, getting underway for both of them as they do the customary introductions. They'll greet each other and, of course, the officiating crew for tonight's contest. Weather looks pretty comfortable. Earlier today it was raining just a bit as we take a look at the starting lineup for Jamaica. Again, Andre Blake in between the pipes. So far this season for Philadelphia Union, he's appeared in 8 contests. He's conceded 6 goals. But in those 8 contests, 4 of them resulted in clean sheets. And the best part of his game so far for Blake is the save percentage. It's right around 77%, at 769 to be exact. But all in all, he's a big man, great stature, and he should be a factor in tonight's contest for not only Jamaica, but for the players and the fans in attendance here tonight. 33-year-old goalkeeper has been around the block, and a member of the national team is something that he has a great deal of respect and love for and pride. Filiberto Martinez, a lead official tonight, Oscar Barrera, David Moran, and Ivan Barton, complimentary pieces. Talk a lot about Blake as the night goes along. Also played collegiately in the United States for the Yukon Huskies. But you see his size. He's a big man, 6'4" and right around 175 pounds. That'll be a factor tonight because, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, it is much physicality as it is the head game for the opposing side's shooters. The deployment on the other side for Cuba. Gotta imagine this match is probably a 50-50 coin flip. Rico Rosarena in between the pipes. Playing in USL Championship this season, Rosarena in 17 matches played has a goals against average at 135. Save percentage is just about where Blake is at 744. All in all, he's had a fantastic season for Las Vegas Lights. He's also picked up 6 clean sheets along the way. So, of course, he wants that in his back pocket tonight. But priority number 1 is getting a W and 3 points. Both these teams have some firepower. We'll see who can jump out in front early. Bobby Reed has been a factor in the Concacaf Nations League. For Jamaica, it's their 3rd consecutive appearance in League A. Cuba, they've gone back-to-back now. Reed, who's had success in this competition. Take a look at Mikel Reyes. Damari Gray also has pocketed 3 goals during his time. Did it last year. A couple of the guys that will be important figures in this match. Filiberto Martinez blows the opening whistle and this contest is underway. Jamaica moving from left to right on your screen. Cuba will be moving from right to left in the attack mode. Temperatures at first touch right around 64 degrees. Scattered clouds. It's been raining throughout the day. There's a possibility of it happening here tonight, but the humidity is rather unpleasant. So even if the rain does come, I imagine there'll be plenty of players that'll be happy to feel it and see it. Humidity right now is at 99%. And the kicker in all that is that there's no wind. No wind tonight. So this will be one of those matches where not only are you thinking about getting some potential hydration, but you need some rest. Open lane here on the right-hand side. Moving out immediately was Rosarena. The defense circling back rather quickly on the counter attempt before that even occurs. Hernandez picks up a cheap foul. Nearly had some opening theatrics for Stephen McLaren, head coach for Jamaica. And that's what we expect to see, someone to pounce early. And then should that happen, The opposing team will be forced to play catch up and probably get out of their stance a little bit. We assume that'll happen. Press forward onto the right-hand side. Ball circulating and it goes out of bounds. Take a look at Jamal Lowe there. It'll be one of the interesting points too for Jamaica. Who can inflict the most damage and how quickly can they do it? Cuba doesn't have a lot of firepower up front, but they have plenty of players in the middle of the park that can lock things down. Onel Hernandez is one of those guys that has made a name for himself, especially in this said tournament. Reed slips on the track. Simple miss hit by him. And that's the implication, right? We just mentioned the weather. The track conditions, at least where we see it from afar, appear to be okay. But the problem is not only are you battling the heat, you're battling the humidity, you're battling the rain. You put all that here and anything can happen. Got to imagine Reed will have a mulligan come back his way. Arozarena, the Cuban goalkeeper, 27 years of age. He was stoked to get the announcement that he was called up to represent his club and his nation. He's appeared in 11 different matches for Cuba on the senior roster. He's taken a bit of a face plant. Matimbo Adier. See Reed here. Matimbo Derriere getting spilled over. Rosarena looking on the back post. Reed's delivery, some hook action to it. Rosarena with the right-handed punch vacates his net, scrambling around, and a little bit of a backup as one of the defenders for Cuba was on his backside to make sure that he is walking the goal line. Looked like Orlando De La Cruz, in fact, got a good spot at him. So Rosarena so far, 16 regular season matches prior to his last encounter. And for Las Vegas, they're coming off a come from behind victory against Orange County. They were down 2-0 and then scored 3 unanswered goals to win it on the road 3-2. Haven't even had a chance to chat too much about Andre Blake outside the open. But there's more on the table than just those two keepers, especially with a guy like Bobby Reed. Reed playing in the Premier League for Leicester City. Sprung forward on the right-hand side. And Makisa could not corral it. A little bit too much run on it. Goes right back to Cuba. Plenty of question marks heading into a new year of Nations League action. Goalkeeping for both sides should be on point. The defense for Jamaica, you're looking at a couple different guys. Ethan Pinnock, Mari Bell, and then of course the younger talent, and then Makisa. Here's Gray, back post, the header, slightly off the mark, and we had some contact near Rosarena. Take a look at that slight smirk from Lowe. one element in this contest for Jamaica. The question is depth for them. Working short again was Gray. Outside the box, nobody around for Jamaica. Gray on a move, grabs the corner, the cross, nobody available. Chested over to the left-hand side, taken away. Thibaut Derriere had the right idea, but nobody around to make a play. Gray trying to twist and turn Reyes inside and out. Juggling around, that shot just squeaks by. Oh, a great look from Casey Palmer. Rosarena had a beat on it, but for Palmer, fine job. Not only able to put it on a tee for himself, but the maneuverability for him in a high dangerous spot just missed. We'll track not only Group B, but also Group A as this tournament goes along. Nicaragua, again, the only team so far in Group B that's picked up a W. Costa Rica, Guatemala, Suriname have done it in Group A. Costa Rica, Jamaica amongst the favorites. I do feel like Cuba's going to give them a great fight here tonight. And the potential's there for an upset. But we'll see. Lofted through onto the left-hand side. Lowe had it for a moment. Rosarena easily to manage. Perez initially thought he was getting his foot out to block that shot. Antonio and company trying to forge forward. No dice yet. Into the 9th minute. It's been all Jamaica so far. Cuba trying to get out of their tracks. Palmer again delivering some pressure. So for Stephen McLaren, he's got to be enthused by his troops so far. Not only are they playing on the front foot, but they're trying to force Cuba into some mistakes. Much like Jamaica, though, don't have a lot of depth. So the question mark will be for them as this game continues to build up. Once we get into the 50th, 60th, and 70th minute, how the reserves have an influence on tonight's contest. Where Jean couldn't keep it. You have to date back to the early 1960s when you look at some of the one-sided history between these two squads. Hernandez. Good transition, good movement. Hernandez, let's see if he takes the shot, and he does, but it never had a chance. It was screaming wide. Hernandez now saying that, hey, the ball was touched by a Jamaica player. No such luck. Jamaica back in 1962 on a bludgeoning victory over Cuba, 6-1, the 1962 Central American and Caribbean Games. Cuba got them back in '66, blasting them to the tune of 7-0. So yes, it is customary to have a lot of tight matches and then a few that become one-sided. Teams got together back in 2015. Jamaica won that in a friendly 3-0. Tonight we're in the 12th minute. Jamaica has had the better chances so far. Only one somewhat decent threat by Cuba. Reed not on the same page. For Jamaica and Cuba, mentioned some of the lopsided events back in the early 60s. You'd have to really push back on the calendar to find out when they first played. But these nations collided in 1930. Cuba winning that one. But historically, that's the trend for them. They've gone back and forth with Jamaica. And obviously, you look at where these two nations are at right now. Cuba having won 11, Jamaica 10 of them. On the approach here, the back post. Antonio looked like some contact. Whistle and a foul. These two squads did meet up in December of 2012 in the Caribbean Cup. Cuba won that affair 1-0. But outside of that, you're looking at some recent history. Jamaica won 3 straight matches. Caribbean Cup contest, a couple of international friendlies. But there's been little to no separation. You win one, you lose one, you rip off a couple straight, and then you lose 3 in a row. That is the theme. Cuba trying to press forward. Nothing materializing for them just yet. Ray is the intended target. Delgado here. Delgado with a sharp angle. First touch of the night for Andre Blake. Glad you could hang out with us on a Friday night from Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica National Stadium. Should result in a booking. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it come right now from our lead official, Filiberto Martinez, and that's exactly the case. Not a cheap foul at all, but it's not a smart one either. Angel, the guilty party. But if you're going to commit a foul that'll result in a booking like that, time and place is everything. But now you're stuck on yellow for the remainder of this contest. Moving around, Palmer takes a spill, charging on the play. Montebo derriere could not settle it. Got a player down for Cuba inside the 18. Don't have a number yet. It's a pretty decent sized collision near the top of the box. Training crew will come out for an observation. Yes, forever coaching, evaluating, taking notes, listening, the whole smash. Or Jean, who was taken out in the play. Some of the notable things for Cuba coming into this contest, we mentioned Arozarena in net as one of the bright spots and strengths of this club. The defense is capable. Carol Perez and Espino. A couple notable figures. Espino has a great deal of experience in Guatemala's top league. Or Jean, who also sees a lot of action in Costa Rica, can certainly help on counters. But Hernandez up front is the playmaker. Won't say that Cuba will rise and fall with his performance, but there's probably a lot of pressure placed on him to do some damage here tonight against Jamaica. Plays his ball with Norwich City FC. Bell. Some matches we've seen so far in Concacaf Nations League have offered a different look when it comes to pace. And by different, we mean more active, more up and down, probably more erratic at times. But this does feel like a contest that once it reaches full time, it is measured from end line to end line, sideline to sideline. Just because whoever scores the first goal, if there is a goal scored, probably put a stranglehold on this contest and not leave the opposition much room to breathe. Got 3 players now make it 4 inside the 18. Back post header, it goes off of woodwork and it stays out. Arozarena got fortunate there. A break for him. Bell discouraged, but we play on. They've been flirting. Gray on the back post. Excellent delivery to Antonio. And Bell's header just missed. But the quarters were tight. It's almost like Bell was stuck operating in a telephone booth. Slight hesitation by Delgado. He almost blew a tire. Hernandez was the intended recipient. Cuba maintaining possession though. Diaz trying to make a move, spun around. Blake will gobble that up. Blake had some decent hesitation on that. Not sure why. He had an open lane earlier at that point to take a shot. Elected not to do so. De La Cruz lost the handle on it. So the first gift of the night goes to Arozarena and Cuba. A header from Antonio that hits the right bar and stays out. Those are the breaks. You get and you make. Reed trying to go on a run. Touch foul? No. Perez depossessing. He gets ripped though. Nice move. Thibaut Derriere, who stole it, gave it back. And now Jamaica and Cuba playing a little tag right now, it feels like. Antonio again. Match reeling a bit now in the 21st minute. Only one shot for Cuba. Jamaica controlling possession, shots, quality of shots, and dangerous opportunities. Low. Mbakisa. See if he gets it back. Delgado almost asleep at the wheel. Trying to turn this over into the left-hand side was Reed. So now that Cuba's sort of recovered, now the question is, can they provide any kind of offense? Because all they've done so far for the first 21 plus minutes has been defending, keeping everything compact against Jamaica and prevent the big play. So far they have done that, yes. But that doesn't mean it's sustainable. '23rd minute, Antonio again trying to flirt. Antonio down the middle of the park. He's seen some decent service on the right-hand side. Long throw in here, headed, but cleared at the last moment by Angel. 24th minute, no score yet. Best opportunity of this contest, Antonio off the right bar. A header that didn't have a lot of real estate to be pushed into. Again, Antonio trying to be greeted with the ball. Palmer, dazzling. Palmer again, elusive. Fans rowdy about it, applauding the effort. And Makisa peels this thing back. Don't know if they'll be fooled here, but Reed outside, some decent penetration, but Cuba not conceding a whole lot of ground. Espino trying to work this thing around the pitch, but a bad giveaway right back to Jamaica. Possession for Cuba has been short-lived. And although we're only in the 25th minute, they can't really take possession and do anything with it. They're in for a long night. Can only do so much defending. Delgado. Alejandro. And that'll go to Cuba. Cuba got a pretty decent mix of international and domestic players. While the knock on them is they lack some depth, they also don't have a boatload of experience like Jamaica does. Jamaica having several players that are members of the Premier League. Serious competition. Rosarena was going to come out and challenge against Reed, but to no avail anyway. Rosarena here, looking at what he's done so far professionally, his path is one that you'd like to see as a professional, going for the United States, playing at the Division I college level, and then whether you're entering the MLS, USL Championship, USL League One, MLS Next Pro, gonna find your lane. And he's done that successfully. He's moved from USL Championship, spent a little bit of time in League One, and now it feels like he has found a home in Las Vegas for Las Vegas Lights. But that goes to the journey, the path of a young athlete. He became a professional at the age of 23. Bad pass, low on his backside. Take a pretty good look there at Reyes. Reyes mixing it up with Lowe. Yeah, Spino here. Let's see where they reset this. The youth of a lot of players in this Cuba squad brings a lot of promise as they hit the prime of their careers. That youth needs to provide not only some energy, but also some productivity. De La Cruz here. Orlando, long throw-in. Header was just missed by Diaz. And results in a corner, though. Granted, it's only been about 30 seconds, maybe 45, but this is the longest that Cuba has spent in the attacking third tonight. That's how good and clean Jamaica's been this evening. Playing on the right half of the pitch. They've been good in possession. Hernandez, back post, the header, volleyed around. Blake goes out and grabs it. Loose change, that ball's kicked out though. Angel let it rip. It was blocked by a member of Jamaica and it stays out. Blake had the right idea, but the problem for him is he had to run through a ton of traffic just to get to the ball. Check it out. The service was good by Hernandez. And for Perez, who headed that ball across the path near the 6, it left Blake in a peculiar spot. So more often than not, a quality keeper in his ideal position is to stay aggressive at all times. Fortunate enough for Blake, a little bit of resistance with his back line coming up with a blocked shot. So it's still scoreless. Low. Antonio here. Antonio wins possession. Antonio toe tapping right hand side of Rosarena, comes out the challenge, and a quality stop there. Antonio did a fantastic job of winning this ball, but the easy tap to Lowe, he needs to fire right away. Antonio to Lowe, shoot. Lowe didn't do it, and Rosarena got the better of him. There's the path right there. Why wait? No real reason to wait. Rosarena misjudges it. Nope, he escapes. That shot was not going to count if it went in anyway. At the end of this first half, we'll have stats and we'll have highlights, but one of the sequences we'll provide you is this last 60 to 90 seconds. Jamal Lowe in particular, he passed on a prime scoring opportunity to go and pursue closer range and shot, and ultimately his hesitation resulted in no goal being scored. Took a look at this counter. That was Blake who came out, lost the handle, and then he saw a pile of humanity inside the 18-yard box. See if the tail changes one way or another. Shot's going to be blocked on the way through. Good job by Perez, even though he turned his back, hogged up the shooting lanes. Casey Palmer, who's played well in this opening half, tried to put it on frame. Jean wiped it out, but will result in a corner kick for Jamaica. The home team tonight. Bobby Reed doing a little housekeeping for us. Got one of our live and hot microphones sitting there on the far end of the pitch. Reed, good spin action on this ball, bend it in. Palmer with a quick shove. He'll be called for that every time in a prime location like that. Be curious to see what kind of changes Cuba makes in the second half. Question is, are they playing this conservative to reserve some energy, or do they have anything else to offer Jamaica in the final 45? Because the one thing they have not done a lot of tonight is ask the questions of Jamaica's back line. See if there's any kind of difference here. A heel kick to nowhere. Thibaut Derriere, a blind pass that was intercepted easily with nobody in Jamaica colors in sight. For as good as Jamaica has been tonight, they've missed on a couple of opportunities. Palmer did a little undressing of Espino, and he was popped for it. Conversely, for Jamaica, what changes would they make? The one thing that's evident is be more timely with your shooting and be relentless. They have not been relentless at all tonight. Thrown in immediately inside the 18. Spearheaded away for a minute. Hernandez was in front on Hell as well, and ball goes right back to Jamaica. One thing lacking tonight for Cuba is a sense of urgency offensively. And because of that, it almost feels like this opening half is being played with them already having a lead. They have not been on the front foot. They have not been the aggressor. Cross corkscrewed around. Arozarena punches it out. And Bakisa loses an edge. Espino, hard charging, pushing forward. As soon as he does that, Hernandez was behind in the play, so he has to slow things down. It's almost like Cuba has to ask for permission to enter the attacking third. The tired legs might have an impact on Jamaica's dominance in the second half, but for the first half, they've gotten their money's worth. Delgado looking on. Don't anticipate wholesale changes in the second half. We'll probably see a mixture of sorts staggered across the final 45. Espino with a blatant shove of low. Match has been scoreless with only one real major threat, and that was Antonio on a header who hit the right bar. Everything else has pretty much been outside the 18. And Makisa can't win this. Part of the luxury of having the hot microphones on the pitch, you get to hear a bit of the chatter. Players trying to work themselves open and talk to their respective teammates on a run here. A little bit of miscommunication. Reyes was on the back post expecting some kind of service coming his way, and De La Cruz way off the mark. Reviews for this first half have been sort of scattered. For Cuba defensively, they've been good. For Jamaica, they've been ferocious. Biggest reason for that is they've held possession for large sequences, and on top of that, not yielding at all. Cuba having the all-time slight edge, 11 victories, 10 defeats, 6 draws. Jamaica, one of the favorites to win the Nations League here in 2024. Hernandez with a steal. Delgado looking for some help. A push over on the right-hand side. Blake comes out, misses on the ball, but with some heavy contact. No call being made. All Reyes had to do was stick his right leg out. It's 1-0 Cuba. Nice play by De La Cruz. Jamaica thinking he used an illegal touch. Back post, Antonio can't circulate to get that. Delgado disrupts the play nicely. Delgado giving up a couple pounds to Antonio, but he did not yield. Palmer in some hot water again. Takeaway here just outside the 18. We're going to have a foul being called, and we'll see where our lead official points at. If anything, we see the yellow card, but that is it. Perez the guilty party, but we have to take a closer look at where this infraction took place. Yeah, that should go as red. And it will be a red card for Perez. That's an area where he had to commit the foul. And a spot like that, Perez left flat-footed. So this free kick going to come out a few inches outside the 18. But just quick, decisive touch passing by Jamaica. Now let's see if they can draw first blood. Gray is going to take this free kick, it looks like, but Reed is there along with Palmer. So Perez the showers with red. Cuba stuck with 10 at the maximum for the rest of the night. Filiberto Martinez decisive with his booking. See how these pieces line up. Question is, who takes this free kick now? You have Reed on one side, Palmer on the other. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Reed will be displaced to the right. See the wall in front of Arozarena. Good stop by Arozarena. Well struck by Gray, but it stays out. It was a missile, but Arozarena tall so far. Possession in this contest, while we've talked about it being one-sided, it is not hyperbole. 73% to 27, and it'll probably grow even larger than that for Jamaica. We'll be playing 11 on 10 for the rest of the night. We think Antonio can't get to it, and Arozarena let that thing skirt out of bounds. Good drive from Gray. The unfortunate thing for him, Arozarena in the perfect spot. He only had a couple of places to go with that ball, did Gray. Up and over the wall. down and around the wall, or right out of Rosarena, see if he can beat him flush. Couldn't do it. Long ball for Hernandez. Nice move by Hernandez. Open real estate, but he can only do so much. Hernandez asking for some help. Delgado. Delgado the chip. This should be offside. Far side official has the flag up. The whistle being blown by Filiberto Martinez, indicating, gentlemen, to go to your locker rooms. This first half is in the books. Jamaica having the majority of the scoring opportunities in this thing. Cuba holding on for dear life and down a player. 45 minutes in the books from Kingston, Jamaica. Cuba and Jamaica are scoreless. Second half has officially begun. No score yet between Jamaica and Cuba, as we're live here from Kingston, Jamaica, inside Jamaica National Stadium. Jamaica in the opening half had the advantage in shots on target, wide margin in possession, and now they have the lead in terms of personnel on the pitch. Junior Perez, straight red in the opening half. He was immediately ejected. He did stop a goal, did Perez. And he's left watching for the rest of the night. So we'll see how the rest of this night fares for Cuba. They have not seen a lot of flashes of brilliance from them offensively. Stable, yes, on the defensive side of the ledger, but the Perez red card was more of an indication of how they had to play in that first half. And what I mean by that is they were chasing the ball a lot, having to defend, and of course when you're not playing on the front foot, you're stuck in that only gear. Sliced away. Back comes Jamaica. Heavy pursuit on the left wing is Gray. Gray with an open look. That shot against the Rosarena goes slicing wide. Fans all looking on, waiting for something magical to happen. And Gray, who hit the accelerator, that thing was badly sliced. That thing didn't have a chance to end up anywhere close to target. Mind-boggling. But it's been that kind of a night so far. The pitch on the right side to Antonio. He can't get to it. At this point in the contest, if you are Cuba, no, you can't burn clock for another 40 minutes plus, but what you can do is slow it down, methodically attack up the pitch, and try to frustrate Jamaica into doing something wrong. Rosarena feeling a little bit of heat, gets rid of it. Should be a foul, and it is. But at this point, with Jamaica having played so well in the opening half and trying to duplicate the performance in half number 2, it does feel like a goal or two is inevitable from them, and probably disappointing for many if nothing does materialize. Gray to the left-hand side. Palmer tries to push this through. Some heavy contact, more congestion, bodies colliding on top of each other. Oh, a play at the very last moment intended for Reed gets wiped out. Perez to collect. Reed, a good feet. Good couple of feet, I beg your pardon. Offside. Can't fault him for trying. He goes fully by Bobby de Cordova Reed. He included his mother's maiden name as a tribute to her. Wanted to represent her for all of her hard work and supporting him to the man that he is today. But as a youthful athlete, growing from boy to man, couldn't have done it without her. Changed his name a handful of years ago. Able to represent Jamaica here at the international level, but he was born in Bristol, United Kingdom. So born in England, but sporting the colors of Jamaica here tonight. Is the only one to come into this contest. Weak side pursuit, top of the box, another shot that was shanked. Oh, iron unkind in several moments, and then other attempts from not only low, but also conversely from Palmer and Antonio that have just flat out missed, Gray included. Good ball by Bell on the left side. Put it into a vacant area, waiting for his teammates to retrieve it. Lowe did. Fortunate for him, again, that shot was never even close. The big question is, what gives for Jamaica so far? Maybe a bit too anxious. I don't want to say they're trying too hard. Palmer. Head up, being heavily pursued, gave it up. Gray on the left side was available. And now the meeting of the minds is Alejandro Delgado. Having a conversation. All appears to be all well. We're in the 53rd minute. Everything has gone one way. And that's for Jamaica. But the end result is still scoreless. Possession 72% to 28. Shots in this contest now 6-1. Rosarena surveying, looking at his defense. He has 9 in front of him, 10, I beg your pardon, to help him out. The one in Perez being called off with red limits what Cuba can do tonight offensively. They had deployed 5 tonight on the back line. Did Cuba. And only a couple in the middle of the pitch. Angel and Delgado. Angel is actually playing on yellow, so he has to be cautious, but not too careful. Got a mismatch here. 54th minute, working the back post, hovering around Palmer. Lets it rip. That ball had an angle, and then it just squirts wide of a Rosarena. Palmer frustrated. So is all of Jamaica. We look back at it. Bell had the right idea, serving this one up for Palmer. Just because he had the right idea doesn't mean the execution was flawless. Nations League continues into the month of October, so these clubs will only get a few days off of rest. They go right back to work next week. Long ball, Antonio with the strike. Nice stop by a Rosarena. comfortable and composed. 2 minutes out. Hernandez gets decked. No whistle, no foul. We play on. Hernandez potentially doing some embellishing. We'll get another look at it eventually. Gray marked on the left-hand side. Kisa, the cross around Gray. Stuttering, takes the shot. Arozarena with a huge stop. Point blank bid, and Arozarena stands tall again. Gray hit that thing flush, and Arozarena read it cleanly. Best for the night for Cuba is their keeper. And we had spoken glowingly about both of them tonight, Arozarena and Blake. So far, it's been Arozarena's show, and everyone else has been watching. Take a look at the stop again. Great hesitation from Gray to set himself up. Just that one pivot, and Arozarena scrambling from left to right. It's a great play. Chip through. Some contact, nothing doing. Down a player. I don't know if Jamaica's going to get that call, considering the fact that they have the advantage. Palmer absorbs the body check, takes the shot. Blocked away. Reed again this time. Finally puts it on target, but Arozarena tracking the ball nicely. Palmer got bumped off of his spot, and Reed not hesitating at all. Partial deflection by Perez. Substitution, Shamar Nicholson. Placing Jamal Lowe. Lowe probably had the best opportunity of the night. Elected not to take a shot. Nicholson. Now it's his turn. Already getting undressed. Ball headed away. Great effort so far from Cuba's back line, but nobody else has the spotlight like Reiko Arozarena. Las Vegas Lights goalkeeper is showing up and showing out. Hernandez weaving his way through some traffic, takes a spill. He's all good, and see a free kick from probably about 35 yards, make it 40 yards out. Hernandez actually tripped over his own feet. It's a pretty decent conversation. But regardless, Cuba with a free kick here. Espino going to set his mark. That's where he goes with this ball. Espino from about 40 yards out lets it rip. That one got past Blake, but unfortunate for him and fortunate for Blake, it was not on the target. That was a missile, and it had beaten Blake cleanly. Slight hook, and we're still scoreless. So each team in the second half has had a scoring opportunity. Corner kick here. Rising up. Lassoed around. Oh, it just goes rolling in stubbornly by Antonio. And he is clearly frustrated. He didn't really have much of a choice. Lost his footing. And it's not the first time that that's happened tonight. If you remember in the opening half, the first corner kick of this match, Bobby Reed attempted a corner on the near sideline and lost his left foot on the plant. Taking his time, trying to pierce it through on the right-hand side. Some contact. Jamaica holding ground right now. Good hesitation move, left-footed punch. And Makisa has this thing going sailing wide and over the net. Rosarena wearing his black tuxedo tonight. He has been so sharp. And it might become that tale that we alluded to at the top of the show. We said for as good as these teams are, the goalkeepers could have an influence on the mental aspect of strikers on both ends of the pitch, where it would require them to be a little bit too fine with shots. And as opposed to not thinking and just firing, some of these strikers are stuck thinking about how to be accurate and pick a corner. Each team looking for some adjustments. Wing through. Palmer trying to go on the dead run. Broken up nicely though at the last minute by Perez. Cuba's been working hard defensively. Now the question is, will the dam be broken? Or can they seal the deal here? But they have a lot of work in front. Venture a guess, at least 30 minutes. Reed quickly, back post elevating around, a little too short on that. Nicholson didn't even attempt to pick it up. Palmer did, but he's called for a foul. Can't read his lips, but we know it's not an agreement with our lead official tonight. See if this is some cramping or not. How the match is unfolded. Cuba only a couple shots to talk about. Jamaica 6. Possession 71% to 29 for Jamaica. Corner kicks 5-1. Jamaica up a player as well. Cuba with the 1 red card. Jamaica has hit 1 goalpost. And now another change. Wait for the announcement to be made. De La Cruz's night is over with. Peña-Lever comes into the contest. So Peña-Lever checks in. De La Cruz out. Peña-Lever, see how he scrambles around for the final 25 to potentially 30 minutes. Hasn't been a whole lot of creativity from Jamaica in the second half compared to the first. Might be an area of concern considering the fact that they've been a lot more creative when they were 11 on 11 as opposed to up a man. It's the 1 change. Peña-Lever in, De La Cruz out. These teams, League A, Group B, have seen each other quite a bit. On the movement, Gray. Slow playing this for a second, lofted it into the box. Poor play for him. Cuba just holding their ground. Each team getting Nations League underway tonight. Jamaica will get back to work next Tuesday against Honduras on September the 10th. Cuba will get Nicaragua on the same said date. Tuesday, that is. Teams will have an upcoming match in October. Long wave to run for Gray, and it had just too much run to it. Should have another change. That's exactly the case. Matos in. Diaz will depart. So strategically, Cuba is strategically moving different pieces around and making these moves as they stagger through the second half. Feels like every 7 to 8 minutes they make a change. Flipped up onside though. Gray on the touch. Nicholson who gave it up. Palmer, Nicholson. Nicholson lets it rip. Shot blocked. Nicholson here. Waits and resets. Bell lets it go through Gray. Gray, good hesitation. Post action, Rosarena pats it down. Good box out from Hernandez. It's a classy play by him. Palmer trying to squeeze it through a couple defenders. No such luck. This thing will clear out of harm's way. Blake almost playing like a extra defender out there near midfield. Palmer lost the hesitation, got it sprung loose. Nicholson onside, left foot, hesitation move, lost the handle on it. Far side official. We see him now with the flag out. And the anxiety just builds in the stadium. And yeah, Nicholson making some moves. We were a little tardy on it, but Nicholson saw it and knew it, so no harm, no foul. So Rosarena, who's been under siege tonight, probably the man of the match. Unless something else happens. What I mean by something else, Cuba or Jamaica score a goal. Nicholson asking for the delivery. Blake quietly. So I've seen a couple shots come his way tonight. A little bit of angst amongst the faithful here. Here, Cuba. I feel like a draw tonight, it's actually a win. No moral victories, but a point is a point. Rosarena looking on, and now we got players converging. Roberto Martinez trying to just iron things out, lower the temperature. Let's see where all this started. And Lowe flailing the arms a little bit, gets the yellow card. I don't know exactly what that was for. Gray here. Back post, header was missed. Rebound is going to be controlled and collected. At least Panak was going to let it go. And it lately does for another corner. Bending in. Pivot and the turn and the firing attempt from Lowe, not to fruition. Lace through into the box. Palmer hustling for it. Turnover. Let's see if there's a counter for Cuba here. No such luck. Cuba's trying. Try as they may, just have not had much offensive prowess on the night. Good move, at least holding off one defender, and Reyes is working hard. Again, next match for both these sides, September the 10th. Cuba, Nicaragua. Jamaica gets Honduras. 77th minute, and we're still scoreless. Hard to believe. Palmer trying to reset. Nicholson gave it up. Into the box. Oh, Reed lost the header, and that shot by Nicholson goes sailing over the net by 10 feet. Unbelievable. You're almost at a loss for words in a situation like this. Reed first, Nicholson. I don't know how you miss. I have no idea. That is unbelievable. To hit that ball with that kind of an angle up and miss from a foot away. That is brutal. Absolutely brutal. But my estimations, Jamaica should have at least 4 goals tonight. At least 4 goals. The soccer gods looking back say maybe you don't get a single one. It's a peculiar game and unforgiving at times. Jamaica, who came into tonight's affair as a noticeable favorite, expected to win this contest by a 2-goal margin. At least that's what the odds makers had in store for us today. And now they're stuck in a dogfight. Doesn't get the real sense that Cuba's going to forge forward for any kind of offensive presence. But just the fact that they continue to scratch and push and shove and at times smile, but stand toe for toe with Jamaica and take their best punch. And it's still scoreless. That has to be troubling for Jamaica. The longer Cuba stays in this, the more dangerous the match becomes. Hernandez fought off. Into the box, played around, but given right back. Quite the predicament that Jamaica's placed themselves in. Yes, they're up a player, but they're getting dangerously close to only having a point in this matchup. Fans here inside Jamaica National Stadium chanting and pleading for their team to do something offensively that results in a goal. They've done just about everything else right. Gray Line drive delivery and the cross headed away. Penny Lever. Gray with 3 goals in this competition. 82nd minute. What does he serve up on this corner? A player down inside the box now that was flailing around. Don't have a number. Gray. Decent delivery, but foul, and it goes back to Cuba. Change here comes for Jamaica. Norman Campbell comes into the affair. Montibo Derriere will be removed. The run near the end line. Hernandez pivoting once, twice. Campbell erased that. '84th minute. Just because the quality of this match that has been played at a consistent pace. Imagine we'll probably only get like 3 or 4 minutes of stoppage time. Collision near the sideline. Do we get yellow? Yes, we do. Roberto Martinez asking for that ball to come all the way back. Antonio shoved out of bounds and took a hard shoulder, despite the fact that that contact wasn't delivered by him. Marjan with the booking in the 84th. Slice through. Gray. Gray still can't do anything with it. Tip of the cap to Cuba tonight. Not only have they held their ground despite losing a player in Perez. Junior Perez, who picked up a red card early on, at least early on in this contest. It was right around the 44th minute. Campbell, nice stop and go. Jamaica looking for a sequence here that'll provide some fruit. Not yet. Clock now a major factor for Cuba. And who would have thought? Outpossessed, outshot, and still scoreless. Bell, Palmer, and Gray Got 4 inside the 18 for Jamaica. What does Gray do? Around the corner, taken down. No whistle, no call, and they play on. It looked like a blatant trip against Gray, and it was not called. Had it been, I don't know if it resulted in a penalty, but regardless, it was an infraction. That drive from Reed blocked. What a wild night at the yard. Tap through. Arozarena says no. Not going to be ambushed in that sequence in the 87th minute. Got some cramping up for Reyes. Got some more changes for Cuba. See exactly what happens now with Cuba, playing a little gamesmanship with these late substitutions. Casanova, FC Villa Clara. One of the notable figures too with Cuba, and if they can seal the deal, it'd be quite the accomplishment for them here tonight. Casanova now comes into the affair. Do like the strategy with how Cuba's periodically making these subs work for them. Carasis, other side, Dixon. Dixon enters the fray. Gray's night is over with. Gray, I got to imagine, is going to think about this match for the next 4 days straight. Not that he did anything wrong, but he could have had some special moments. This ball squirted through somehow and it got all the way to Blake. 90th minute. We'll look for the fourth official to indicate how much stoppage time. Our guess, 4 minutes, but only a guess. Nicholson. Campbell. Nice move by Campbell to free himself up. A little bit of real estate, but it was wiped out. Back comes Cuba, and that's going to be a hard shoulder and should be an immediate yellow card to Campbell, and it is. Completely unnecessary. Bigger player running into a smaller player like that. A little surprised, frankly, that Cuba not sending some extra players towards Campbell for protection. Campbell with yellow. 5 minutes of stoppage time. So we were close. Hernandez on the dead run. Earns himself in Cuba a corner. So for Cuba, 5 minutes to hold on. For Jamaica, I have to imagine they press a little bit here. Story of this matchup tonight for them, Jamaica on the front foot for the entire first half. Junior Perez picked up red in the 44th minute. So it provided Jamaica with an advantage 11 on 10. And they haven't done anything with it. Nicholson, who had the best chance of the night, had his left foot nearly on the goal line and had a pass that came his way. He shot it over the crossbar by 5 feet, maybe 10. But it went nearly straight up in the air. That's how hard of a difficult shot that was for him to make. Not for it to go in, but for it to sail over the crossbar. Conversely, Reiko Rosarena has been magnificent. And these are the moments that you live for when you represent your nation. And Rosarena has every reason to be proud of his performance. Lobbied forward. Some contact inside the 18. A whistle and a foul being called. Bell doesn't like it, but it goes against him. Officiating's been solid tonight. Roberto Martinez. I think the one call he might have missed was when Amari Gray was taken out just about 10 minutes ago near the outside skirts of the box. Probably it. Antonio. Hit defender in front. Take another stab at this. Reed lets it rip. Rosarena pats it down in front of him. It was a fat rebound, but he hit that thing flush. Not going to get in trouble with that save. Softly into the box. One player cramping up. Another trying to escape. Don't see exactly who that is. Our lead official asking for the medical staff to come out with a stretcher immediately. Shocking to see there was no goals tonight. Odds makers thought there'd be at least 3 of them. 2 in favor of Jamaica, but not the case. Blake and Hernandez exchanging some pleasantries. Blake probably telling Hernandez to get him off. Any kind of injury like that. And Blake comes out of nowhere, just visibly upset. Of course, being a keeper, you don't really have that kind of a problem. Blake getting a yellow card. Long throw in here. Floyd around, picked up. Cuba just trying to survive right now. Blake is hot, obviously, because that much time, because of the injury, spilling away into the stoppage time. What does it all mean? For all intents and purposes, Jamaica trying to close out this match up a couple players because of the injury. Rosarena, who came out, ball was removed from his presence. Long throw in here, lobbied around. Some contact inside the 18. It looked like for a minute Lowe was the one that made that heavy contact, and our lead official Filiberto Martinez says, gentlemen, we have reached full time in Jamaica. A shocking result for Cuba. They held on, they survived, they took some heavy punches from Jamaica. One shot going over the crossbar from the goal line, another off the right bar. Somehow, some way, despite playing down 2 players in the closing minutes of this contest, Jamaica and Cuba, a scoreless contest in full time.
We have Reggae Boys midfielder Casey Palmer. Casey, your thoughts on the performance today? I think it was a very good performance. Obviously, we're playing a new style of play with a new manager, so there's a bit of mix. Obviously, we want to win the game, but there's a bigger picture leading into the World Cup. So we're happy with the performance, but a goal and a win would have been better.
Any thoughts on the fans today?
The best I've ever experienced here, personally. Obviously, maybe Nana and stuff has experienced it more, but you can see everyone's getting the buzz for it. If we keep filling the stadium like this, we'll keep performing and we'll keep trying to win games. So yeah, we love the fans, we love the support, so many more to come, hopefully. Thank you.
Scoring off for the 27th time ever, Cuba and Jamaica going toe-to-toe tonight from Kingston, Jamaica, and Jamaica National Stadium. It's a pretty good showing tonight for the hometown faithful, but Jamaica, who dominated large stretches of this contest, trying to get on the board early on in this affair. One of the players that was just interviewed, in Casey Palmer, thought his performance, at least the team's performance, was good and fair. End result, he felt like they should have had a W in this one. A goal, of course, to provide the fans with plenty of reason to celebrate. All in all, in this contest, Jamaica did a lot of things right. This moment here for Antonio at the right bar was unfortunate for him, because that was probably the closest that Jamaica would get to scoring a goal in this contest. But Antonio just missing the mark, hitting the right bar flush. Match was still scoreless in the opening half. For Cuba, they were doing a lot of chasing in sensitive moments, but this opportunity here was probably the one that was most misguided from low. Jamal Lowe from close in, just right around the 6-yard box, elected not to take the shot, came in closer, was stopped anyway. Junior Perez picking up red here just before the end of the first half. He sees straight red, and because of that, Cuba was left 11 on 10 the remainder of the night. Gray's punch was batted away by Arozarena. Good strike from Gray, but Arozarena was special in the night, and he rewarded his team and bailed them out on numerous occasions. Teams flip-flop sides. Gray had the corner and the edge here. Left-footed strike for him goes slicing wide by 15 feet. Never had a chance. One of the more puzzling moments of the night for Jamaica is they had opportunities like this with Gray, and they just couldn't convert. Converting is one thing, having the shots come your way is another. But these chances for Jamaica, especially in the second half, weren't even on target, which makes it more puzzling. You saw Lowe there on his crack towards target, sailing wide. How about this sequence? Gray pulls the trigger and Arozarena like a cat stabs it with his right arm, keeps this game scoreless as we're late into the second half. For Arozarena, he was so good on this night, it caused all kinds of havoc for Jamaica, trying to be careful. How about this sequence? Arozarena knocks it down, finds his center of gravity, backtracks. Nicholson, who gave it up, wanted to get it back, and he does. Watch Nicholson on the far left-hand side, right there on the doorstep. He should have scored, couldn't score, and I have no clue how he missed it. Best angle of the night from our crew on the goal line, and yeah, absurd. but Nicholson and Jamaica stuck on zeros. Meanwhile, Rosarena's save percentage was at a perfect 100. Cuba survives behind Rosarena's efforts. And this match ends in a scoreless draw. So we look overhead from Jamaica National Stadium and closing out a Friday night. Take a look at the final tallies in this contest. And for Jamaica, back to the drawing board, but they did so many things right. You have to be encouraged by their performance. Out shooting Cuba 8-2. Of course, they had the possession because they were out manning Cuba 11 on 10. Possession in their category, the fouls were heated, the one red card, the corners 9-2. Everything went Jamaica's way except for the final score. Jamaica and Cuba open up Group B with a point each, and they'll get back to work next Tuesday. This is David Gascon saying so long from Jamaica National Stadium on a gorgeous Friday night from Kingston, Jamaica, where Cuba survives the best punch from Jamaica, and they play to a scoreless draw. Have a wonderful night, everyone. So long.
Important than I go over the crowd.